Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about universal credit, every gambler's wet dream, and everyone in the UK's actual living nightmare. This sad excuse for a human being has decided that this year is not hard enough, especially for those struggling to make ends meet at the moment and who had the misguided notion to think that their government would actually help. Not only do we have to deal with a horrific pandemic, the likes of which we haven't seen in nearly 100 years, not only have we had a year that actually hurts to think about, not only have we been separated from our families for so long that we actually miss our families. Now, as unemployment hits record highs and businesses are going under on a daily basis, we're told that benefit caps are being introduced to the only lifeline that many people have just to get their rent and bills paid. 5.7 million people are currently on universal credit. That's a rise of 90% since March and equates to around 10% of the entire population of the country. Yet, as our government wastes millions of pounds on COVID tests that don't work, increases military spending by 16 billion with a B, and wastes more money on a track and trace system that has more bugs than a Red Dead Redemption update, the average household is set to lose around £250 a month. The Department for Work and Pensions has been quoted to say this is to encourage a strong work incentive, despite the DWP also releasing a report 4 years ago saying that caps are not an incentive and actually create barriers to finding work. All this as companies fold and jobs become rarer than Hamilton tickets would have been if the West End theatres were still actually open. For those of you who've been lucky enough to avoid this horrific hellish system, here's what you're missing. First, you have to create a profile and jump through several hoops on an outdated and broken website just to get credit awarded to you. Then, a finely tuned algorithm calculates how much they can take away from you and then takes away more. Now, you have to battle on a complex phone system that blares mind-numbing hold music whilst interjecting every few minutes to tell you how busy they are and have you tried to use their online broken system. If you're not cut off, which can happen at any time, and you manage to wait for up to an hour to talk to a real person, you discover that person knows less about the system than you do and is actually just a glorified receptionist who will take a message for someone to get back to you. If you're really lucky and someone does get back to you, they'll tell you that your payslips, bank statements, and the HMRC tax office are wrong and there's nothing they can do. Maybe this is why the country is facing a significant rise in mental health problems, which ironically just seems to compound the issue. It's a bit like if every time a child wrote a letter to Santa, he had to execute an elf. Doesn't seem right, and I'm pretty sure it's only making his job harder. It's the poorest and most vulnerable in our society that are suffering, and yet expected to fill in forms, spend hours on the phone, and generally doing more admin than a full-time job. So, can we fix it? As Bob's wife said to him, no. It's a broken system that's being perpetuated by an uncaring and ruling class. And if this humour is a little bit too dark for you, just remember, dark humour is like food. Not everybody gets it. During a time when we're forced to homeschool as best we can, as the world falls apart and all we have is our social media addiction, as we're trying to find new ways to have fun while social distancing, and as we're trying to find new and creative ways of entertaining the kids, all we ask is that the Muppets in charge pull their finger out and actually demonstrate a modicum of empathy. This has been the New News Network. Stay safe, stay sane, stay silly.